What's up, everybody? Welcome to Make Things Tiny. My name is Mick. So continuing with our discussion of different tiny house communities across the East Coast in particular, today we're going to focus on New England. We're going to look at New Hampshire. So I'm going to talk about tiny house communities in New Hampshire. This is a great video for those of you who have mentioned New Hampshire, who are interested in New England, either moving there or staying there. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and let's jump into it. Let's talk about tiny house communities in New Hampshire. All right, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about New Hampshire, specifically tiny house communities in New Hampshire. I've only been in New Hampshire once, but I have lived in New England, and there's a lot of pros of living in New England in general, but some that I think particularly transfer over when you're talking about going tiny. So when we're talking about New Hampshire, the cost of living is not going to be one of those factors, unfortunately. Most of New England is more expensive than what you would experience in the Midwest or parts of the South. So the cost of living in New England is actually $15,000 higher than it is nationally. So we're looking at $95,000 for median family income. But New England has a lot of pluses. So the main draw, in my opinion, is proximity to other states. So if you're living in New Hampshire, you're close to Vermont, you're close to Maine. It's not too far to get to Massachusetts if you want to go check out Boston. You also have access to national parks in New Hampshire. There's 2 there. So the nature is kind of unparalleled with all 4 seasons. The fall is really beautiful in New England. You have smaller urban spaces. So for those of you who don't like to be in more congested areas, I know in my more recent video, I talked about New York. So you think like New York City, you're not going to have like huge cities like that. Like Portland, Maine is rather small. Portsmouth, New Hampshire is a little bit smaller, but you still get that urban feel and you're on the coast. The tiny house laws in New Hampshire vary by county, just like in every other state. I looked at Barrington, New Hampshire. So in Barrington, New Hampshire, you can only have a tiny house if it's on foundation. So 400 square feet, same size, loft restrictions, and that they can't be bigger than 5. They have to be bigger than 5 feet long, and you have to comply with state building codes. So if you're looking to go tiny and you're looking to go tiny on wheels, Barrington County is not great for you. But if you're interested in foundation builds and ADUs, it could be a great spot. So just make sure you check out the county that you want to go to and make sure you comply with their codes. So tiny house communities in general offer opportunities for affordability. So I've mentioned this before. Now we know that the range for lot rent in the United States is pretty wide. I've seen ones as low as $400 a month for lot rent and as high as $950 for lot rent. So depending on where you live, tiny house communities may or may not provide you with affordability, but I think overall they're going to give you more affordability than if you were to buy land and then build the house. They offer amenities as well too, more and more becoming more like resorts as we continue to see more and more RV parks bought up and then sort of like torn down and turned into tiny house communities. People are more interested in living semi-nomadic, more like transient lives, but they want the resort sort of feel. So we are seeing more pickleball courts, pools, and things like what you saw in the Village Farm video I did a few weeks back. Location is everything. I know that matters a lot for all of you. Honestly, you've talked about not wanting to be too far outside of a major city. So that's something you really need to consider because most tiny house communities are going to be about 30 minutes to an hour outside of major cities, sometimes even more. But ultimately, a lot of them are trying to focus on security with some of the gated communities that we're seeing now as well too. So today I'm going to talk about 3 tiny house community options in the state of New Hampshire. First up is Tiny Village Park. So this is what their website looks like. Tiny Village Park is located in Charlestown, New Hampshire. There's a grocery store in town. It's a little further out from a Walmart. It's going to put you over an hour out from a Walmart based on what I saw when I did like sort of like a Google like Maps search. So you're going to be in a more secluded area, but it is a more established community. It's kind of an RV park style. The pros of that is that you're going to get a much lower lot rent. So you're looking at $400 a month for lot rent, which is one of the lowest, if not the lowest that I've seen so far in my search across the country. They do separately meter electricity for per home, which might not be the case at every tiny house community. So make sure you ask those sorts of questions so you have a better idea of what your budget's going to look like every month and your costs. They are pet friendly and they've got 20 spots for a tiny home. Next up is Tuxbury Tiny House Village. This is what their website looks like. Now, Tuxbury Tiny House Village is a part of a company that has multiple locations across the U.S. They have the Mount Hood Village, which is pretty popular in Oregon. They've got other locations in the United States as well, too. This one is in Southampton, New Hampshire. It's 20 minutes from a Walmart, so that's pretty close. There's a picture here of what the inside of one of their tiny homes looks like. It's rentals only. So you're looking at nightly rentals at $145 a night, or you're looking at weekly rentals at at $350 to $450. Now, I don't know if they have extra space for you to bring your own tiny house. As it is right now, it looks like it's just their own homes that they've already put there. Not all homes are pet friendly, so you do have to make sure you check their website, because I did notice that some of the tiny houses don't allow pets. And there's an RV park or resort next door, so that might provide more options for long-term parking. But again, there's several locations in the United States, so if you like what you see but you don't like the location, you can always check and see if maybe there's a place that's closer to you or a place you're willing to move to. But that's what Tuxbury Tiny House Village has to offer. The next one is actually part of a larger sort of like developer. This particular community made the news when it first was being built back in 2023. It opened in 2024. This is what their website looks like. It's called the Cottages at Black River Road, and it's in Dover, New Hampshire. But I just wanted to give you a sense for what the website looks like, because this is the larger GSD community that owns multiple developments. This is just one of them. So Cottages at Black River Road, there's actually not a lot of information about them, but I wanted to put them up because it's a pretty unique in terms of it being smaller. It's a little further out. There's 44 homes. They're all under 400 square feet at 384. They're really cute style as well too, but there are income requirements, which could be a pro. So it might be worth reaching out to them. Maybe they take applications, every so often. I know that they just opened in 2024. So this is a picture of what the tiny homes look like, but I think I brought it up because I felt like it was worth talking about because it's more affordable housing. I think the income requirement can be a really positive thing. Everything is becoming too expensive now, so it's great that they built something with people on a limited income in mind. So make sure you check that out if you're interested and reach out to them. Ultimately, it matters what you want because this is going to be your home and your investment. So in this case, I've talked about a couple options. So you've got the one location where you can park your tiny house, that you have no restrictions there in terms of what you can bring. But then you have the Tuxbury location, which is rental based. And then you have the Dover location, which is going to be income restricted. So it just depends on what you're interested. But this does give you a sense of what your options are in New Hampshire. Now, it's not a ton, right? New England in general, just like parts of like the northern parts of the Midwest, there are less options for going tiny in terms of a community, but nonetheless, there are three here that I could find. So we've got Tiny Village Park, which is more of a standard tiny house community with more of an RV park feel. You've got Tuxbury Tiny House Village, which is going to be a rental situation, but they have an RV resort right next door that they own, so that might give you opportunities for long-term living. And then you've got the Cottages at Black River Road as well too, which is more of an income restricted area, but it still provides an opportunity. You should reach out and ask questions. So links to all these are in the video description. Reach out to them, ask questions. Let me know if there's any that you want to see. I can try to get them on the channel. As always, drop comments. I love hearing from you guys. I'll keep looking up all the other states that you've mentioned. I know people have mentioned Connecticut and I think New Jersey as well too. If you haven't seen my other videos on tiny house communities, you can check those out here. And don't forget to think tiny. I'll see you guys in the next one.